All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jane Stevens. I'm the training manager here at Zolo, but today I'm joined by Sidekicks Media. Alex is here joining me, and he's going to talk about social media, but in two parts. So part one this week is going to be all about how to set up your accounts, and then next week join us again for all of that paid advertising information. So Alex, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome.
Pleasure. Hi, Jane.
Hi, this is a hot topic. So this has been widely requested. As you know, there's a lot of agents here at Zolo who are just starting out. So, they want to start off their social media pages, using as much, knowledge as they can, so that they can kind of get it started and then eventually maybe lean into those paid ads. So I'm super grateful that you're here joining us today so that you can talk to people about how to set things up on their own before, they jump in and start paying the big bucks, the big real estate bucks. So thanks again for joining me, Alex. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for that, Jane. Nice to see you again, and lots of familiar faces in here. Hello, everyone. It's great to be back. So Jane summed it up pretty well, but I'm Alex. I'm a digital marketer and I specialize on social media. That's my day job. It's all I do is social media for real estate. I don't do it for anything else. I basically take agents' pages and I try and get them leads and brand development and brand awareness all through social media. So we have about 2 hours, 1 hour today and 1 hour next week, where I'm going to be showing you, like Jane mentioned, in two parts, not only how you can set up your page, because that's going to be maybe about 10 minutes of the seminar, but I actually want to get into the nitty-gritty about how you can create branded posts for yourself using free software that's readily available and easy to use. And emphasis on easy to use. I'm a graphic designer. I use really complicated stuff. I learned how to use this program this morning so I could teach you how to use it. That's how stupid easy it is to use. So I'm really excited to get into it, to show you a little bit about how you can kind of stand out and how you can drive business on the most modern and relevant platform now for a lot of the buying power in real estate, which is millennials, Gen X, anyone under 50, you better believe that they have an Instagram or a Facebook account and that they're spending time there. So as marketers, we know that we go to where the people are. We never want to make people work to come to our brand. We want to make it as accessible as possible. So with the spirit of accessibility and the spirit of getting your name out across multiple platforms, let's dive right into it. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay.
Awesome, and feel free, guys, to participate. Drop questions in the chat. I'll address them at the end if it's not relevant to what Alex is showing at the moment. But yeah, feel free to interact. This is for you guys. Yeah,
100%. Please ask me questions. And also, I didn't mention it, but my email, maybe Jane, you can type it into the chat. It's alex@sidekicks.ca. And if you ever have any questions, I've already had quite a bunch of people reach out to me. Just reach out and ask me your question and I'll respond to you as quickly as I can. Maybe get on a phone or a Zoom call if it's a more advanced issue that requires some help. But I'm more than happy. Sidekicks has a great relationship with Zolo and we want to keep it that way. I'm more than happy to take some time out of my day to help you out. So without any further ado, so this is what a basic personal Facebook page looks like. This is my own personal Facebook. I'm currently in the Explore feed. So all of my friends on Facebook, if they post something, then it shows up in the Explore feed here. So that's all pretty normal stuff. But if you look up at the top here, you see this little flag, or over in the navigation bar on the left, you'll see pages. So it's the same navigation tool. And this is the tool that you need to get to your Facebook business page. Now, the reason why this is important is because business on personal pages, it doesn't really work. I don't recommend it. Or I don't at least recommend that you're constantly posting stuff up there because it's a personal space. People are a little bit more resistant to branded material there. That doesn't mean you can't do it, but Facebook business is the perfect platform for you to get your branded material, talking about real estate, talking about who you are out there, and you can build a following. The other useful thing too is I'm going to show you that we can actually connect everything together, Instagram and Facebook, for your ease. So it's going to save you time. So you don't have to post all over the place when you want to post. You're going to be able to post in one spot and the computer is going to take it and send it to the different necessary platforms. So I'm going to show you all that right now. So first step, I'm going to click on this page here. Okay, and as you can see, I'm a social media manager, so I have 20 different pages that I manage. But when you get here, it's going to be empty. Okay, and you're probably going to see a button here that says create page. If you don't, there's a one right here that says create new page. So it brings you right into this page here, and I'm going to run through this pretty quickly because it's very, very straightforward. And again, if you have questions on it, please just send me an email. I'd be happy to hop on the phone and answer your question. So over here, you'll see the page name. So you want to pick something that is obviously relevant to your business. If you're selling homes in Toronto, don't put Toronto home seller because nobody's going to be able to find you if so. I'm going to use Jane as a lot of my examples today. So I'm doing Jane's page. You know, I don't want to not include the name Jane Stevens in the brand because all the people that already have existing relationships with Jane, so her existing sphere of influence, I want them to be able to find her if the need ever arises, or if organically something that Jane posts shows up in their feed, the brand recognition is there, right? You don't want to make people have to work to make a mental connection between a name and a page. Again, never make people work for anything, right? Like make it as easy and straightforward as possible. It's just good marketing. So we're going to go Jane. Oops. Jane Stevens Real Estate. And so you'll see a little green thing right here. So this is important. It means that the name is verified. So it means that basically the name is not taken and it doesn't go against any of Facebook's laws and things like that. So one law I'm going to tell you about really quickly is I recently tried to create a Facebook page name called Living in the 6ix, not following my advice that I just gave you. And lo and behold, Facebook wouldn't let me create that name because they said that it was not specific enough to an industry and it was piggybacking off of too much of a lifestyle brand. So basically, my point that I'm making here is if the name that you pick is not related to the business that you do, Facebook will flag you and they will make you change it, or they won't let you pick it in the first place. So just keep that in mind. Make it related to real estate, homes, selling in Toronto, you know, something like that, right? So category down here, the next thing you see on the left side, nice and easy, we're going to go real estate. So you see it's a drop-down menu. As I type, it's going to give you a lot of different options. If you specialize in investment, I mean, like there's no reason why you can't put investment, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to put real estate. And then here is basically, it's your page intro. So keep in mind, you have a 255 character limit. That's not a word limit. That's a character limit. So really, really short and really, really sweet. I'll show you an example of some of the ones that I've done for other clients right after this. But don't put something like this. Make it more personal, but for the sake of time and just moving forward, I'm just going to put something super generic and bland, but do not put something like that. So now that I have these base ones filled out, I'm just going to click create page. And it should create it. There we go. So Jane Stevens Real Estate was created. Now you can add images and all that fun stuff. So let's go. So I'm going to press, sorry. Okay, so it brings me to this next section here, which is going to give me all sorts of options to add a profile picture. Now I'm not going to add the profile picture in, but I'm just going to show you when I click on it, it's going to go directly into my library. So keep in mind where you keep stuff on your computer. Again, if this is unclear, send me an email, give me a call. I can walk you through this step, but it's going to be different for everybody. So I can't really show you here, but let's just assume that this was a great picture of Jane and I'm going to select it. And as you see right here, it automatically fills into her profile picture. So, but I'm going to delete that for now. All right. So fill out the necessary stuff, and then it's going to go to your page. Now your page will look like when it's done. Just let me go to a good page. Okay, so this is what it will look like when it's done. So you've uploaded a cover photo, you've uploaded a profile picture, you have, sorry, one second. So you have your bios. So I'm a sales representative of Remax Hallmark Toronto, where I'm committed to provide the highest level of service to my past, present, and future client. Now, keep in mind that there's going to be more options to put in a longer, more personal bio about who you are and what you do. Okay, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. So when you finish that last step that I just brought you through, it brings you to this page here. And you're going to see an option on the left, this large bar option here. So this is your Facebook page, business page navigation bar. So when you're in your business page, I want you guys to be using this bar here to be moving around, and everything that you need to go to in terms of analytics, the tools, advertisements, all of that stuff you're going to be able to find in this bar right here. So let's just do that quickly. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click settings at the bottom, and you'll see that it's going to break open a new page. Now, a lot of you are probably like, oh my God, I get that. Don't worry. 90% of this stuff you don't even need to worry about. So I'm going to show you the stuff that is important that you need to get started with, that makes sense for you. And maybe we'll do a part 3 down the road where I'll get into like the super advanced stuff, but don't worry about that stuff for now. So the first thing you need to know is scroll down on the left here until you see Instagram. Okay, so click on Instagram. So, and this page will show up. Now, if you don't have an Instagram account connected, you will not see this page. You will see, hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna do this fake one that I did because I can't find your page, Jen. Okay. You will see this. This is what it will look like. All right, so it says connect account, and literally just press that. Yes, allow access, continue, and then it's going to go to your Instagram login. Now, I'm already logged in and stuff, again, social media manager. So it looks a little bit different, but here you can just enter in your Instagram login, your password, and what it's going to do is it's going to connect your accounts together so that when you post to Instagram, it's automatically going to post to Facebook. But not only that, it's going to connect your message inboxes. It's going to connect your analytics. It's going to connect all the good business tools that you need to run your business. So that if you decide that you want to not mess around with Facebook and you just want to run this from Instagram for the sake of time, you can totally do that. And it works. So anyway, so you would enter your stuff and you would press connect, and then it would go back to how that other page I just showed you looked like. So hold on, getting there. Instagram. And so this is what it looks like when you have a page connected. So the other important thing to let you guys know is, so I know we're not talking about advertising today, but for the sake of being proactive, you need to have professional or a business account to be able to run ads, to be able to look at your insights. So like, I'm going to get into it, but like if you post something, you want to be able to tell how it's performing, right? You can't tell if you have a personal account. But don't worry, if you follow these steps like I've showed you, it will automatically convert your Instagram into a professional account. Okay. If you're having problems, again, I'm going to say this all the time, give me a call, send me an email, and I'm happy to work with you on a one-on-one basis to get you through it. Okay, so that's the general nitty-gritty between how you connect your accounts and to get all of the just the paperwork stuff out of the way. So I'm actually not going to be in Facebook and Instagram very much for the rest of this webinar. I'm going to be in a program called Canva. And many of you have probably heard of Canva. Canva is like,
Canva.
yeah, it's great. It's like I said, I had used it before, but I pretty much taught myself how to use it in 2 hours.
It's super easy. Yeah.
It's really easy. And so anyway, so let's just dive right into it. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about Canva is it's free. Yeah, all right, you don't have to pay anything for it. Literally, you need an email address and you can sign up. So when you're doing your social media on Facebook or Instagram, something that's really important, 2 things that are really important is the frequency that you're posting. So how often do you post? Are you posting once a week, twice, every day? okay? And the time of day that you're posting, okay? And then the third thing, which ties everything together, is the consistency of your brand. Okay, so what I'm gonna be showing you now is easy ways that you can basically do all of those three things without having to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. All right, because the smartest way to be able to do this is sit down on a Sunday, dedicate 3 hours to it, do all your posts for the week, and then walk away. And you can just focus on doing engagement. You can just focus on responding to people that are messaging you, liking other people's stuff. And you have more time just to live your life, but it's also going to be a lot more organized if you do it that way. So in terms of consistency, this is where Canva comes in. So I'm going to start a design right now. So up at the top, you have a search bar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a template for Jane Stevens for all of her listing properties I'm going to do her sold properties first. So whenever Jane sells a house, I'm going to create a template that she can basically use. And all she has to do is drag in the picture of the house and change the address, and it's done. All right. And let's time me. I think maybe it will take me 10 minutes. Let's say 10 minutes to do it. All right. So search bar, just listed is what I'm going to search. And wow, so I have all these different options for what I can do. So keep in mind, you're doing Instagram. So anything that's oblong like this, a 4 to 5, like it's a bit taller than it is wide, it's probably not going to work for you. I would stick with the square posts. So this is a square, this one's a square. Okay, so let's see, let me think. All right, I'm going to start with this one. Now, the great thing about Canva is you can start with a blank template, or you can start with a template like this, and you're going to see the finished product. Don't worry about the template. It's a good placeholder. If you don't know where to start, you can use it and you can tweak it a little bit, but you're going to see I'm going to change everything. So, all right, hold on. Oops. Going too fast. All right. Okay, so okay, so all I did was I just went in and I deleted all the photos that were all over there. So basically, when you go into Canva, you're going to have this here. So when you select a template like I showed you, it's going to go into the template, and then you have a bar over here. Okay, forget about this recently used. That's not important. So the first thing is uploads. So uploads is basically an area within Canva, okay, where I can upload all sorts of different files from my computer that I have already that I can literally just drag and drop. Like, check this out. All right, so okay, so give me a second. Okay, so all I did was I just drag and dropped a couple things in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm selecting this background here. And whenever you have something selected that is not a picture, so like, let me give you an example. So like objects or something like that, or backgrounds, you'll see this little square up here. So this is your color square. All right, so again, I'm going to select the background and let's go like that. Okay, so we're just going to do a gray background to start. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this color square. Sorry, I lied. Give me 1 second. So I'm going back over here, see back to uploads. And I'm taking a look. I've prepared this presentation. So I have a bunch of images that I had already brought in. So I clicked on this image and it automatically came in. Now all I'm going to do is drag the borders to extend it into the actual dimensions of the post. All right, so as you see, it just extends nicely, but I've hidden everything, right? So all I'm going to do is up top here, this bar here, your navigation, you see position. When I click position, I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to keep going backwards until it goes all the way to the back. All right, now you see there's a method to my madness, what I'm trying to frame here. Okay, so Uploads. So again, I went back to uploads and I dragged her logo in. Now the logo's too big, so I'm just going to break it down. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but you see these pink lines here that are, these pink lines, the dotted ones especially, they show you spacing and like centricity, like whether you have it centered. So you see right now, it's centered onto her logo. What I want to do is drag it right there. Now it's centered from the top and the bottom. So when I go and I pick out, but always kind of use your personal judgment, right? Like as I did that, I can probably tell that it's, you know, it's a little bit too far out. So I'm going to drag it out and find a new centering. That makes sense. There we go. Okay. And to me, that looks a little bit better. So okay. So, all right. So my post is starting to take a little bit of form. Okay. Now let's throw in some text and stuff. Okay. So I'm going to add a heading. So 123 Toronto Street. Okay. Right up here, again, into your toolbar, I'm going to break down that font and it's automatically going to shrink it down. Or I can just highlight it and type in the number that I think is going to work. Okay. That was a good guess. That works well. Again, fonts, I can change fonts over here. So if you want to do kind of, oh, you can't. Some fonts are pro, as you just saw, but most of them aren't. Like I said, you can get away with almost all of this stuff by not paying anything at all. Okay, and then, so I have my address in, but you see this here, how this address, it's kind of hard to read, right? Like you see how the line of the bathtub is coming here. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna try this out, see if it works, but I'm gonna go back to my sidebar here and I'm gonna click elements. So in elements, you have the option to add all sorts of different shapes and graphics and yada, yada, yada. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a small little bar behind it to see if I can maybe put a transparent overlay on it so that the address is a bit more readable. And as you see, I'm just dragging the bar to what I think is gonna make sense and make good. So the edge of the logos. Okay, so just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna do that for now. Okay, so again, I've selected the bar. So up in the top left here, the color wheel, I can go to different colors. I can even, if you know what your branding, if you have custom branding and you know what your codes are, I can type in codes and it will go to the automatic color code. So I mean, just a cool tool if you are into the design stuff a little bit more. But for the sake of this, I'm just gonna see how it looks with maybe an opacity gray. So I've switched it to gray. Now, while it's still selected, I'm gonna go back up to the top and you see this kind of checkered fading transparency bar. This is how you change your opacity layer on something. So I clicked it. Right now, it's 100% opaque, so you can't see through it at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it a little bit. There you go. And you see, now that address is a lot more readable. If somebody's looking on their phone, they're going to be able to tell what it says. Even better, if you want to go even more cool, I mean, we could do something like, we could go with a black opacity, you know, because contrast and stuff is everything. Go to the font and we change the font color. Now look how great that pops out, right? So the point is like, there's lots of different options here. This is someone like, yeah, I do graphic design, but I've never used this program before pretty much. And like, I came in here and I'm just playing around and I'm creating different stuff that kind of looks good and makes sense. And so now I just want to show you, first off, I'll answer the probably imposing question that a lot of you have. Yes, there's a lot more I could do to this template, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to stick with this for now. And again, like if you want to go a little bit more in depth, you know, like play with some bars and some lines, you know, you can do that. But I just kind of wanted to show you the basics. So now that I'm here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to File, and assuming that this is a great post that, you know, Jane's happy with and she wants to put up, I'm going to go to file and I'm going to save it. And now I can, this will save as a JPG file, a JPEG, and I can literally just post it right up into Instagram. And there you go. But the best thing is that this template will now save like this. So in the future, you know, Jane decides, or Jane sells a house next weekend. She's got a new picture. Literally, this is what she does, guys. Uploads picture of the new house. Click it, it automatically goes in. Dun, 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 dun. Extend the borders so it fits. And then remember up top here in your position bar, you just want to switch the position. Send it all the way to the back. Bam, Jane's got a new listing. And that's how long it took me. All right. So I want to show you how easy this is, because Jane mentioned that there's a lot of interest, and I can double that. Like, I get people that ask me all the time, like, well, how can I do this myself? So this is how. And then what we want to do, I'm just going to show you the finished product. Actually, we'll go, no, I'm in Mary's account. Okay. It's patience. All right. And then when you've done that, you know, so this is a pretty rocking account, you know, 2,000 followers. This is an account that we do, but when we know and we have our design planned out, it allows you to do cool stuff with the patterns, stuff that makes you stand out, right? But without a program like this, I mean, I totally get that a lot of you are probably feeling lost. Like, how do I compete against pages like this, right? So anyways, I hope that this has been helpful. It's not done yet, but that's the first part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to design another type of post, just to show you a little bit of variety. So something that I've found works in the right amount, not too much, is when you do stuff that's kind of like feel good, motivational stuff for normal people is the key for normal people. So I find like quotes about real estate, and this was a learning process for me, but quotes about real estate about like, you know, don't wait to buy real estate and wait and stuff like that. Like, it's funny and all, but like, it's kind of silly, right? And what we want to do as social media, especially in this industry, because clients have such a big, like such a large barrier to come and buy a house with you. They have to trust you with a lot of their money, right? So the number one thing that we want to focus on is building a relationship. So how do we build a relationship? All right, let's just start from the layman's. So things that come into my mind when I'm thinking about relationship, trust. Trust is huge, right? What about not just trust in the individual, but business acumen? So trust in like in your knowledge of the industry. So those are just two things right there. So something that we can do is we can do, let's see, we can do motivational posts talking about people. We're not going to make them feel isolated by, you know, hitting them with big facts about real estate. That will come, but for now, let's just do something that will resonate to just normal people, right? And that's what I really want to get inside your guys' heads is, yes, you sell real estate. Yes, your pages are going to be about real estate, but everything can't be about real estate. So anyway, so let's go motivational. So again, I'm going to look for, I'm going to actually type Instagram. I'm going to look for squares. So my advice to you is that when you decide, if you do, hopefully you do, if you decide to do this, take a minute first before you even start designing and just take a look at what's up there. Because I mean, some of the stuff like this guy here, this might be a great centerpiece for motivational posts that you do that fit right into your brand with a little bit of tweaking. So I challenge you just to, you know, take half an hour, go through this search bar here and just see what these templates are, because often, you know, you can find stuff that's like, that's really cool, that's already using colors that you like and that you agree with. And it's just going to make your job that much easier, right? So I'm just going to pick something random. All right, so this is how I create motivational posts essentially. So I go to Google and I search, I basically narrow it into the topic that I want to do. So I'm going to search for this one, feel good motivational quotes. Okay, so I'm going to go over to images. And basically I just go into an image that I like. Now I'm going to steal one from one that I already did. So as we know, International Women's Day was Monday. So it's a smart idea if you are running a page that you are posting stuff that's relevant. So on this page, as you notice, we do a motivational Monday every Monday. We do a motivational thing. So this was on Monday and we were like, well, it's International Women's Day. Why not pair the two up? So I'm going to basically copy this. So strongest action for women is to love herself. All right. So okay, so sometimes short and sweet's great. I don't always need to do a big thing because sometimes I have, like, let the words speak for themselves, right? So, but let's say that you're not crazy on this font or you want it to be a little bit different. You don't like the red. All right, so let's change some stuff here. So first thing, we're gonna select everything and up in the top, we're gonna just play around with a bunch of different fonts and see what kind of looks good. Now, as you notice, this font here, when I selected it, it's the same size, but because of the typeface, it kind of screwed everything up, right? So all we have to do is we just readjust it. Or what we can do, readjust it by readjusting the borders, okay, like I showed you, okay? Or we can just readjust the font by these plus and minus arrows up top. And you basically, this is how I do it, how I was doing it, because I noticed that I can just basically keep going until I find that perfect spot that I think looks really good. Yeah, I think that looks good. Oh, my computer was lagging, as you see, it continues to go. Okay, so. Okay. And now I'm just going to drag it. See the purple lines again that are showing me that it's centered. There we go. Perfectly centered. So double click out. All right. Now, again, let's play around with some colors. Okay. So as you notice with this one here, it actually has a transparent sheet that's on it. So do you notice what happened when I did that? When I clicked white, it didn't go fully white. So that tells me that there's actually a transparent sheet that's on here. And when I click up to the transparency option that I showed you all before, we see, yeah, there's actually a sheet that's on. So like I said, I wanted to show you this because all sorts of different templates will have all sorts of different things that they've already done for you, but you can now go in and you can decide, is this something that I want to keep? Or, actually, I don't really like that sheet, so I'm just going to delete it and I'm going to have the really bright red. So let's talk about how we can variate with a post like this. Because if this is something that you want to do every week, maybe you don't want to have a red background with the white. Maybe you want to have the look and the feel of it, but you change it around. So really easy is, again, you're literally just changing the color. Sorry. There we go. You're literally just changing the color. You can change the color to however you want, okay? And then again, over on uploads over here in the top where you store all of your files that in here, okay? I can brand it if I want to brand it, okay? Move the branding around so that it makes sense, so it's a good size. And then save a template, and literally this is a template. Now, sorry, I have to stop and just say, yes, I spent 3 minutes on this, 5 minutes on this, but I want you to imagine what you can do if you actually sit down and spend 50 minutes, an hour on a template. And keep in mind, it's now yours and you have it. And literally in the future, all you have to do is drag and drop. It's like 10 seconds in the future whenever you want to post. So I'm coming back to it because I really want to emphasize, spend the time now. It will save you so much headache later, I promise. Okay, so that's pretty much, that's Canva in a nutshell. I mean, it's really, really easy to use. I mean, I didn't really go into it that far, but that's kind of the point, is like, I feel like you don't have to. I feel like I showed you all the major stuff that you need to know. So if you have questions about it though, please do email me, call me, get in touch. I'm happy to help. Okay, so that was
Maybe I'll jump in with a question, Alex. So
yeah.
maybe just giving a suggestion for those who are maybe thinking about posting every day. What do you recommend they do? Like, you know, maybe every Monday, do they pick a certain topic and they stick with that on Monday, just so that they're not always having to reinvent the wheel every, you know, every week? Do you have days like that you kind of pick a topic and always go with it?
Totally, yes. So I'm going to show you that right now. So let me get into the next part. And that's what this whole part, the next part is about. But great question. Okay.
And I'm just dropping your email into the chat as well. So I'm sure you'll get lots of feedback after this.
Good. Yeah, please do contact me. So I'm creating a free account with Hootsuite right now. Okay, it was that easy. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you on mine. Sorry about that. Okay, welcome to the world of scheduling. So I'm going to show you the one that I use. The reality is that they're all extremely similar. The mechanics are very similar. The location and stuff is a little bit different. But many of them have free, so Sprout Social, you can write this down if you want, Sprout Social, Agorapulse, and Hootsuite, they all do have free programs. If you're only running 1 to 3 accounts, then you can use them and you don't have to pay anything for it. And basically what it allows you to do, I'm going to show you this in a second, is it allows you to pre-schedule, hold on, wait for it, all your content ahead of time, okay? And so that during the week, you can focus on buying and selling real estate and not creating social media posts, right? Or you figure out how it works for you. So in terms of Jane's question earlier, great question. And yes, I highly recommend that what you do is you start by picking categories. Okay, so my recommendation is that the magic number is around 5 and you pick 5 different categories. So basically the rule will be that anytime that you post, or pretty much anytime, there's rare occasions, but pretty much anytime that you post, the content that you're posting is going to be able to fit into one of these 5 categories. Okay, so I mentioned Motivational Mondays. That's a category, but also that's a category that is a timed category where you can always know that on Monday, you're going to put up a motivational post. So an example of a category that is not a timed category would be new listings. You don't know exactly when your new listings are going to come. Jane can't tell me the listing she's going to have next March, right? But they come when they come and you put them up when they come. But that's a template category that you can pre-design, that you can have done and ready to go, so that when the listing does come, you're just dragging a bunch of images in and you're posting. Okay, so another category would be information about real estate. So I mentioned earlier that you don't want to sell too much, but you're still agents and you still want to be representing yourself as, you know, a brand expert, as an industry expert, right? Because who wants to buy a house with someone that doesn't know what they're doing? No hands just rose. I know no hands went up. All right. So like, it's important that you do mix that in, kind of, you know, an eclectic mix of information. So let's create a category about buying and selling real estate. So I'm going to show you an example. just because I do this all day, so I have them ready. But this is an example for what a post could be about just real estate knowledge. Now notice there's nothing here that's like, come buy with me or come sell with me. I'm framing this client as an information source so that when the need arises, that client, this client, sorry, it gets confusing. Mario, okay, occupies the top of mind or the peace of mind of that client, right? And that's kind of our goal, is frequency, exposure. You know, we want to get that real estate right in the center of people's head so that when the need arises for real estate, we are the ones that they think of first. All right. And we do that by having stuff like this filtered into your mix, you know, because it basically, it gives you value as a brand. Okay. So that's another category. Now, remember I was talking to you a little bit before about real estate is scary. What I didn't mention to you, and this is kind of a touchy issue, but real estate agents do not have the best rep with normal people. Okay, they don't. I mean, I feel comfortable saying this because I come from a big real estate family, but a lot of people have bad opinions of real estate agents as an industry. They think that it might be scummy, or that, you know, some people might not be as honest. Okay, in my experience, I don't think it's entirely true, but I don't write the societal impressions or anything. Those are facts. So a way that we can get around that is by doing personal content. Now, I know some of you may not be as comfortable sharing stuff about your personal lives onto your business pages. All I can say is it works. That is the formula for what works for driving leads and building relationships. If you want to do it or not want to do it, that's up to you. But I'm telling you, that's what works, is the personal content, is getting images up there of you. You know, if you have a family and you don't want to put your family up, I get that. Okay. But try and put as much stuff up that shows that you are a human being, because nobody wants to buy from a robot. It's that simple, right? So Jane, for example, Jane, what are some of your hobbies? I know these, but I'm gonna ask you anyways. What do you like to do when you're not selling or when you're not running the show? What do you do?
I'm into fitness. I do have
Yeah.
kids. I like wine.
Okay, perfect. I have all the information I need. So here's an idea. Why doesn't Jane, you know, have, now I'm coming up with on the spot, so it might not be as good as it could be, but why doesn't Jane do like, I'm trying to do like an alliteration play, but like a fitness Friday, you know, like a fitness Friday, that where every Friday, you know, she does a small post talking about like, you know, a specific fitness routine that she does that makes her feel great and preps her for the weekend. Like, to you, to many of you, you might be like, but I'm telling you, like, that stuff, it works. It's like people like to know about you and your personal life. So that's the categories. Okay. And that's probably the best way that I could explain it. A couple of categories that I do for clients are food. Like, I have a couple of clients where every week they release a recipe, one of their favorite recipes, and they talk about why it's so good. They include the steps, the ingredients, blah, blah, blah. And people eat it up. They comment on it, they share. Like, that type of stuff is really, really good. Because the final thing that I want to talk to you about today is about the algorithm. So I've talked about how you can create cool branded content posts. It's important to keep them consistent, posting frequency. So 5 to 7 times a week. Yeah, I know, 5 to 7 posts a week. That's what you should be aiming for. And that's on Instagram alone. But keep in mind, because what I showed you, you can share it over quite easily. But you should be trying to post every day if you can. So there's that, the consistency, the frequency, the timing. The timing is very common sense. What do most people do at Tuesday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday? What do most people do? They're working. Most people are working. So is it a good time to post at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon? Probably not, because most people are working. And the way that the algorithm, so the computer that runs Instagram works, because believe it or not, when you post something, it's not guaranteed that people are going to see it. The computer determines if people see it or not. And the way that it does that is it judges the first 20 minutes that post is live. It judges the first 20 minutes and it looks at what happened, the engagement that happened. So if you post something at 1 o'clock in the morning when everyone is sleeping, nobody's going to engage with it. Nobody's going to like it, share it, comment, save. None of that's going to happen. Instagram by default is going to say, this is a bad piece of content, and it's going to put it in the trash pile, and it's going to show it to 10% of the people that it normally would have. Now, on the contrary, if you post something at 12 o'clock on a Monday, it's the lunch break, it's Monday, people are probably on their phones, maybe like everyone hates Mondays, you know, let's escape from work on our lunch, on our phone, and you get good engagement, you get 30 or 20 likes in the first 20 minutes to an hour, you get a bunch of comments. Instagram, the computer, is going to go, this is a great piece of content. And now what it's going to do is it's going to show that content to people that it normally wouldn't have shown it to. And that's what you want, because it's free marketing. And all it takes is a little bit of strategy. So yeah, so those are the basics: time, frequency, content, and then the algorithm. The algorithm was the final thing that I wanted to talk to you about. So I told you about how it kind of works, but something that's important to know is that the algorithm, it changes really often. And the reason why is because there's a lot of businesses out there that make a lot of money through social media. All right, like largely product-based businesses. So, you know, hairspray, shoes, shaving stuff, you know, they make a lot of money through social media, and people are always trying to exploit the algorithm so that they can make more money. So because money's involved, and Facebook and Instagram is an advertising company, that's their first, that's what they are. They're not a social media company, they're an advertising company. Yeah, wrap your head around that. But because of that, they're really, really secret about how the algorithm works, and they change it all the time. So in the spirit of that, I'll let you know, they changed it about 3 weeks ago. And believe it or not, likes and comments don't really mean anything anymore. I know. What does mean something in this order, sorry, I dropped my pen, in this order is saving content. So when I say saving content, this little flag right here, you see this banner flag? This is the save button, okay? So this has the highest weight for your posts. If people are saving content, then it means Instagram is giving you brownie points. And the more brownie points you get, the more it's going to show your content to people. So the reason why I want to tell you this is because if you have friends, if you have family, if you have people that you know that want to support your business, why not ask them, hey, would you mind, could you mind if you see my post, could you save my posts every now and then? Or this button here, which is the share button, the little arrow pointing to the top right, or could you share my post every now and then, because it really, really helps you out. If you have a second Instagram account, like you have a personal and you have a business, whenever you post, do it. But keep in mind, it adds up. One isn't going to make a difference. When you start getting 3, 4, 5, 6, and you start getting them consistently, your organic reach is going to skyrocket. And that's what you want, because you don't have to pay anything for it, right? So, yeah, I think that's pretty much generally it. The other just good practices, when people respond to you, respond to them promptly, because if they've messaged you or commented, it means that you're currently, again, you're occupying their frame, right? They're thinking about you. So capitalize in that moment and respond to them when they're still thinking about you. If you respond to them the next day, they've moved on in their life. They've now been exposed to 30 other brands, da 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 da. But if you get them right in the moment when they're engaging with your brand, it does a lot more in terms of awareness, in terms of loyalty, in terms of building the relationship. So turn your notifications on, basically. Turn your notifications on when you see stuff come in. If you can, try and get to it. I think that's pretty much it. So I'm about 10 minutes short, but that's good, because maybe we can have a little question period. If any of you have questions, maybe relevant to specific issues that you're facing, I'm the guy to ask. So yeah.
Yeah, so we did have some questions come in. I just wanted to ask you about hashtags. So are those, you know, in Facebook, or like, are people putting those on their posts on Facebook because they're also cross promoting to Instagram, or do they do anything on Facebook? What are some tips for
Good
hashtags?
question. Good question. Yeah. Area I completely went over. All right. Good question. Hashtags on Facebook, no point. They don't do anything. I'll tell you that. They changed it a while back. There's no longer hashtag organic reach on Facebook. There's no way to track them. The reason why hashtags are good is because on Instagram, specifically Instagram and LinkedIn, if you do LinkedIn, hashtags are really good on LinkedIn too, is it's a way of kind of twofold. All right. First of all, it's a way of sorting your content to show it to people that Instagram knows is already interested in that type of content. So that's good, right? Because it helps you with the organic explore feed or the organic growth that I was talking about. But the second thing is that there's actually an option to follow hashtags on Instagram. So if you look at my screen here, hashtag real estate, all right. Now this is a big hashtag, all right. This is 50 million posts, all right. But if I click on this, if I was following hashtag real estate, all right, Instagram will pick and choose images that have that hashtag on it, and they will basically, it will pop it into your explore feed. So your explore feed being this feed right here, right, on Facebook and Instagram. But yeah. So with that being said, hashtags, never more than 14. Write this down, please. Never more than 14. Okay, Instagram will not like it if you put more than 14 hashtags. Now 14 is the magic number that I've discovered, but feel free to do some research. There's different opinions. I've heard 12, I've heard 16. And they have to be relevant to what the content is. So if you post a picture of an apple, don't go hashtag banana. I mean, that's the most layman's example, but I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward, but I mean, like if I'm doing something that's motivational, you know, you can still do hashtags related to real estate on that, but maybe I would do maybe a few less than I normally would, as opposed to that post that I showed you, this one, where maybe I would do more real estate hashtags, you know, that were, because it's a lot more geared towards real estate, and people that are following that hashtag or people that are interested in real estate will engage with a post like this more than someone who wasn't, right? So it's also important to know that when you're looking for hashtags, all right, because a lot of you are probably like, well, what hashtags do I actually use? So there's great tools, there's great free tools out there on Google, that you can use. Or what you can do is you can literally, if you have a few extra minutes, you can just search them and search ones that you think are good. Sorry, search hashtag first. And it will show you how many hashtags there are in the actual thing. So as a general rule, I use a mixture of high population hashtags. So I have a couple that have like 50 million posts, okay? Because there's good volume in there. But think about it. Someone can put hashtag real estate on their post if they live in England, Australia, New York, Toronto. There's no geographic determinant there. So if you're trying to bring people to your page that you want to maybe potentially turn into business, or you want to repeat, you know, hit them on multiple touch points. So like you're showing them, expose them organically, posts from your page over a period of time, a hashtag real estate, you have a super minute chance of being able to do that because there's so many posts and the network is so globally large. But check this out. What if I search Toronto homes? So Toronto homes, cut that number down to 270,000. All right. And now you know that you're targeting anyone that's following Toronto homes for the most part is going to be a Toronto resident, right? So this is what I mean is you want to mix up your hashtags. You want to have some hashtags that are really, really broad, like real estate. And then you want to have some hashtags that are a lot more specific, but still have good followings. And then you want to take it one step further and you want to go what we call long string, or really, really minute, like really specific. So I'm an agent and I work in Riverdale. That's all I sell. I sell Riverdale. That's all I sell. So I'm going to do some hashtag research right here. So Riverdale. Now keep in mind, how many of you have heard of that Riverdale TV show? Right? From the Archie comics. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. So this is a good example where sometimes you just got to use a little bit of common sense. Where Riverdale, a community in Toronto, has 8.3 million posts. Wait a minute, something doesn't sound right. And if I click on this, you'll see it's the TV show. So what I'm going to do is go even more minute and go Riverdale, Toronto, and bam, 8,400 posts. And that's a magic number for me because it's really, really small. Keep in mind, but keep in mind the people that are following this are going to be Riverdale residents, are going to be more highly focused on what's happening related to this community. So if you're trying to penetrate a market, if you decide that I want to sell at, waterfront condos only, then look for stuff like that that's super, super specific because you're going to have less people that will see it, but the people that will see it will be a lot more on target for what you're looking for, right? So I think that makes sense a little bit. And finally, I can't show you this because there's no option on the computer to show you, but maybe next week I'll get on my phone and I'll show you. But the insights on your Instagram, when you convert it into a business account, you'll see an insights button right at the top. You can't miss it. When you click on it, you can actually see post by post how many people are being driven to your page from hashtags and from what hashtags. And you can optimize it like crazy like that. So it's a really good tool that I recommend that you just get into and explore a little bit. Again, so I'll just show you what it will look like. So assume this is the phone, like the home screen on the phone. You'll have an insights button right here, right next to like edit profile will be down here on the phone. And that's where you'll be able to find it on your home screen. All right, Jane, did that answer your question?
100%, thank you. And we do have some questions. We have less than 5 minutes left. I'm going to bundle a couple of these questions together. So what is better in terms of Facebook, having a personal page or a business account? Same question for Instagram. And then there's a question about adding friends on Facebook. How do you do that on a page, as opposed to your personal page?
Okay, I can answer all these in 2 minutes.
Sure.
Okay, business is better. And the reason why I think business is better is because you cannot track analytics on a personal pages, Instagram or Facebook. It doesn't have an option. So when we do marketing, if we're not tracking the analytics and we're not looking at what's happening, we're literally just guessing, right? And we don't want to guess. We want to make educated decisions based off of numbers, based off of, oh, this motivational Monday post works really well when I posted at 12, but it doesn't work that well when I posted at 8 in the morning. You can't tell that when you post it on a personal page. So for the sake of growing your business and making something happen, I always recommend that you do it on professional pages. Second question, you cannot add friends to a business Facebook page. You can add friends, you can follow people on Instagram, business or personal, that's normal, the same for both. But Facebook is a little bit different. On Facebook, you have people that follow you kind of, but there's no follow back option as a business. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Oops. Okay. So when you're on your Facebook, you're going to see an insights section right here. All right. So this is really useful because it tells you what's happened in the past little bit. But if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see 178 people like this and 183 people follow this. So what it means is that like is literally when you go to a business page, you'll see a like button right at the top. 178 people click that like button. The following though means that they clicked follow so that when I post something on this page, this post will show up in their explore feed as my business. Okay, does that make sense? So kind of like, hold on, like this one here. This is an example. This is another client that I did. So, the post shows up like this in the explore feed. But you cannot actually add friends to a professional page on Facebook. And yes, I still think it's better to use it, even with that knowledge. Okay, questions at 1 o'clock, but if you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. I think we are at time. There were a couple of questions that we didn't address, but we will be back next week. So bring your questions, then we'll definitely address them. Otherwise, if you wanted to reach out to Alex, I did drop the email in the chat. So it's alex@sidekicks.ca. That's right, isn't it, Alex? I think I said Sidekicks Media at one point. That's not it. Yep. So yeah, alex@sidekicks.ca. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alex. That was super informative. Thank you, everybody, for joining and participating. Yeah, we'll do this again next week. I can't wait.
All right, guys. See you next week for ads. Everything about paid ads. Have a great
Awesome.
week.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.